What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to episode 30 of The Rise of a Nation, here with FC Edmonton in the Canadian Premier League. We are back, and today we have the last episode of Season 4. It's going to be the North American League fixtures. Before we get into them, it's going to be against Marathon over two legs. This year in Football Manager, this might sound like a weird sentence, but this year the awards worked. Now, in this database, the awards are just a bit broken. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, but seeing as they worked this year, just to look at them, Hamilton picked up the MVP award. The Golden Boot went to Nick Daly, of course. He also won Best Rookie. Deshays and Mossavat also for us were right up there, coming second and third respectively. We were named as Manager of the Month, and then in terms of Manager of the Year, and then in terms of the Team of the Year, here's the team, and interestingly enough, Shandal Senior, Goldheart and Telfer, all players of ours out on loan, were in the team, alongside 5 players who of course were playing for us, including Connor James, Oyamada, Mossavat, and of course Hamilton and Nick Daly, who really have been, I feel like, up top, the difference makers for us. I talked last episode about wanting Nick Daly to play for Canada. It's probably not going to happen. I'm going to break that to you now, because we've got 2 players who have been called up for the World Cup. It's, of course, the Qatar World Cup. It's a Winter World Cup, and Oyamada and Nick Daly are the 2 players who have been called into it. So, yes, Nick Daly potentially going to make his debut. If we just look here at all the groups, just so you can get a feel of who's made it to the World Cup. Of course, Qatar going to be there as the team playing in it. And looking through, I don't think Canada made it. That was actually one of the things I wanted to check. I guess we didn't. I mean, that's a little awkward, isn't it? Of course, Canada going to be competing in the 2026 World Cup due to the fact it's been hosted in Canada. But yeah, they didn't make it through. Who did they lose to? World Cup qualifying group. Can we take a look at it? Wow, okay. Jamaica pipping them to it, and Costa Rica also in the group. Not great, really, is it? You can see the other groups here. USA, Mexico, 2 teams you expect to get through. Honduras via playoffs. I guess they were the kind of fourth best placed team in terms of the best placed team from the 3 divisions. So they got the 4th slot where they got into the playoffs. Canada missed out on that on goal difference. So a little bit heartbreaking there. But of course, we're not the Canada manager yet. Maybe one day we will be, but not yet. So we can't judge that too harshly. You can see we are considered the most major club in Canada. And well, hopefully, let's show today that that's exactly what we are. We are taking on Marathon. We are big favourites for this game. We should be winning it. They've got some players on international duty. In terms of team news, Ace Vado is suspended. Karata is also suspended. And Adam Bill, he's not back from injury, and I don't think he's going to be back and fit for the next game. So in terms of our team, this is what we're going to go with. It's going to be Connor James in goal. Fairly standard. I do feel like over the next year, Williams might surpass him to take the number 1 goalkeeper spot. At 18 years old, it kind of feels like sooner or later we've got to start playing Williams. At centre defensive, I was about to say centre defensive mid, but no, at ball playing defender, we've got Liam Fraser. I feel like I always refer to him as the centre defensive mid just because he sits deeper than the 2 other centre backs alongside him. But of course, they are ABZ and Oyamada, which is really great to have kind of full strength defensive line. I really do like all of our players in that area of the pitch. We've then got Carlos Mora, who's going to be playing the ball-winning midfielder role for us. With Ace Vado out, it's just a position for him to slot into. As a ball-winning midfielder, he's not got the craziest aggression or bravery, but he's still more than adequate, I feel like, for the job. It means that Kay is going to come in to play centre mid on support. Alongside him, it's, of course, going to be Alex Marshall, playing as that advanced playmaker. He's still not natural at centre mid. Maybe one day he'll get there. Lovitz is going to be out on the left. Out on the right, it's going to be, as you can see here, Johnson. And up top, we are going to go with Daly and Hamilton for today's game. Let's see how we get on, shall we? I'm hoping for a nice, comfortable win. To get to this stage in the competition, if we just quickly take a look, we've kind of been in cruise control. We've been by far and away the best team in the North American League in every single fixture that we've had. Of course, we beat Verdez 19-1 on aggregate, Olympia 5-0 on aggregate, Alajuelense 8-1 on aggregate, Herediano we beat 5-2 on aggregate. I guess that one's a little closer, but against Marathon here, we are going to go in as big favourites, and they've got a few players away on international duty, which I imagine is going to impact them quite negatively. And in fact, it's all of their younger players who I was actually eyeing up as potentially some of their best players. It means that Torres is their only goalkeeper left. And, well, we've already seen some questionable goalkeeping in this competition. We'll hope to see some more of it today. Not by Connor James, I should clarify, but by Marathon. And, well, let's get into this. We are at home. It is the final ever game to be played here. Let's make it a classic, shall we? Let's make it a classic. Saying goodbye to the Clark Stadium. It's an emotional moment, and Nick Daly, I'm sure, is going to want to send us off with a bang. His effort there, unfortunately, deflecting off the crossbar. I do wonder, I believe it's Mora, the other player who's been called up for the World Cup, although it might have been Oyamada, now I think about it. But whoever it was who got called up for the World Cup alongside Nick Daly, we may well be out without for the second leg. Of course, it's the 2022 World Cup, so the scheduling is just a bit all over the place. So, knowing that we're going to be without Nick Daly, we need him to come big now and hopefully get us a comfortable win. And that's exactly how we are starting off this game. It's his 35th of the season. I mean, can we just discuss that? 35 goals this boy's got. That is madness. That is just absurdity. Now with Mora to the edge of the box, cleared away by Espinoza. And of course, just as a reminder, next episode will probably be the North American Champions League knockout rounds, because that starts sooner than our league games. The only thing that might influence that is if it's been rescheduled slightly due to the World Cup, which I don't think it will have been. But yes, expect a massive episode next time. But of course, we've got a big one here, and we've been given another chance. Nick Daly, he scored a free kick already. Now he has a chance from the spot. He's not been flawless from the spot, but can he be flawless here? He sends the keeper the wrong way. He gets his second goal of the game. Nick Daly, he's a big game player, isn't he? He turns up in these occasions. The free kick was superb, I guess, from the penalty spot. You expect him to score, but nerves of steel he certainly does possess. I mean, he's probably going to want the hat-trick now, let's be honest. That's probably going to be on his mind. Marathon we expect to beat, but you never really know in this kind of competition. Over two legs, I feel like we have the stronger team to shine, even if we have one bad game. Lovitz crosses it in. Hamilton, Daly's there, he's offside. He's off. Don't stop celebrating, Nick. I mean, how quicker a hat-trick would that have been? Disallowed goal in the 16th minute. Was he off? Oh, it's close, isn't it? His first goal came, it was almost a 6-minute hat-trick here in the final. The linesman has denied him. I have a sneaking suspicion he might not be able to deny him for the remainder of this game, as Hamilton's threaded through by Daly, and it's another penalty. I mean, Nick Daly, for the 7-minute hat-trick, it's not quite as impressive as the 6-minute hat-trick. He steps up, he scores his second penalty of the game. I mean, he might now be aiming for 40 for the season. Marathon. Nah, this ain't a marathon, this is a sprint, and we are making mincemeat of it. Easy. Easy as she goes. 3-0 after 19 minutes. I mean, this could get kind of embarrassing. The Clark Stadium, it's seen some memorable games over the years by us, but this one could be the most memorable. What a campaign we've had in the North American League. We have dismantled team after team, and after struggling in this competition in our previous appearance, I feel like we look like just the top dog in this competition. We look like, well, we're playing out of our league. I say this, they're on the attack here. Lahera stopped by Connor James. What a stop that is. There's a reason he's in the team of the year in the Canadian Premier League, and it's because from those kind of situations, yes, he doesn't always have a great deal to do, but very often when Connor James is called upon, he makes massive stops like that. He stops you conceding goals. And that is exactly what he's done there. That was absolutely massive by him in goal. I still can't get over the fact Nick Daly scored a 7-minute hat-trick. That is crazy. Mora, K, hits it just wide of the post. I mean, it could have been for Nick Daly 4 goals in that time. Although, I guess technically the third goal probably wouldn't have happened had the offside goal counted. But, I don't know, he looks lively, doesn't he? And well, Alex Marshall, bringing it forward, switches it over to Johnson. Options queuing up. Daly can't be picked out there. Cleared away, but only as far as K. I mean, if there was a a challenge perhaps for our players to get this game wrapped up ahead of the World Cup to avoid players being called out on international duty. I feel like we are very much striving towards that as Hamilton has a free header. And this time the crossbar comes to the rescue. We have now hit the woodwork twice in this game after just half an hour. This could kind of easily turn into a rout. Johnson crosses it in, headed by Daly. It comes to Fraser, who's offside. I mean, we need to do some training, I feel like, where we just explain to our players the offside rule, because I feel like a few of them just aren't quite sure what it is. Liam Fraser on that occasion, the man caught the wrong side of the defence and, well, a country mile offside, I believe would be kind of an understatement to describe his position in there. It wasn't even close, was it? I am wondering with this game if we can score a few more in the first leg. Maybe I just won't do the second leg. I know for some of you guys it might feel like a bit of a shame, but as you've experienced this year, we do kind of dismantle teams in this competition, it feels like now. We have enough quality to do it. I guess the issue is that against teams like Herodino, as we saw, we demolished them at home, but then we draw away. So at the same time, I don't want to discount a team too soon. If it stays 3-0, we'll be back for the second leg, but I don't know, if it gets to like 6 or 7, you begin to think it's unassailable, don't you, really? Especially how this fixture is playing out right now. We've been all over them. Alex Marshall with it. Now with Lovitz, who crosses it in. Hamilton nods it. Keeper spills it. I did actually hit the woodwork again. I mean, Marathon look like they are in trouble, don't they? They look like, well, a team who, I don't know, they look stunned, really, don't they? Hamilton here, free header. It's saved again by the keeper. We are not letting up, are we? We are creating chance after chance. You feel like it's just inevitable, like it's a matter of time before another one of these finds the back of the net. 57 minutes gone. You know what? I'm going to take off Hamilton. I'm going to bring in the Duck. Let's let him fly. I'm also going to bring in Deshays for Marshall, who, I don't know, Marshall had a little injury about a couple of months before the end of the year, and I feel like since then he's just been a little off the pace. Which isn't necessarily the end of the world, but it's just something worth being aware of. Of course, the great news for the likes of Alex Marshall and Nick Daly from next year is they're not going to be considered foreign. They're going to be getting Canadian citizenship, just like Shandol Senior has already. And that's only going to allow us to strengthen the first team further if we wish. Johnson with the ball here, bringing it forward to Nick Daly, who might cross it in. He goes to the Duck. Back with Deshays. The two subs linking up here. I really want the Duck to grab a goal, or Deshays. Deshays actually giving away the ball there. Johnson reads it and recovers and bails him out a little bit, and now he's back with the ball here. Gives it to the Duck, who hits it from range. Not far wide at all. Not far wide at all. 15 minutes left. We've got one last sub we can make. Kay hasn't had the craziest game in the centre of the midfield. Let's bring in David Norman, a player who I don't really talk a great deal about David Norman, but he's just a very good, versatile Canadian centre mid, you know? He was a player released, I think, by Vancouver. I think it was Vancouver, but an MLS team released him. We've kind of brought him in, and he's just a very good backup player to have. With the foreign player rules, obviously, Canadian players are crucial. He'd pretty much walk into most of the Canadian Premier League sides, but obviously the quality we possess is on a slightly different level, and he does kind of experience that. But he has been ever reliable, and he's going to get a chance here to show us what he's made of. And, well, Diego Rodriguez has just scored for Marathon. It's 3-1 now. Now, considering two of our goals were penalties, despite how amazing these stats look in the bottom left, you might have seen them, they're a little bit nutty. 3-1 means we're coming back for the second leg. I am not convinced that this is over just yet. Not a bad finish as well by Diego Rodriguez. How good is he? I mean, not bad for a right back. He looks pretty solid, to be fair. Didn't know he had that kind of long shot in his locker, but yeah, I mean, the second leg, it's not done. It's not done. Maybe I've got a little ahead of myself. We're going to have to come back, and we're going to have to see things out on the road. And I can't help but feel like the game in Honduras isn't going to be easy. You can see here, just looking at the review, a draw was predicted going into this game. We dominated the match. Nick Daly, obviously, man of the match. We might be without him for that game in a week. But I don't know. I feel like we should have done enough there. We should have scored more, no doubt. But, well, the job isn't done just yet, but 3-1 is not a bad result at all. Anyway, let's get forward a week. Let's hand over to Honduras. I think it's Honduras. It is Honduras. I can see here. Would have been awkward if it was El Salvador. I was getting the teams confused. It's not the biggest stadium in the world, but you can bet it's going to have a crazy atmosphere. Actually, it says it holds 12,000. This stadium to the left must be huge. Little did I know this series was going to involve me analysing Honduras or Honduran football stadiums, but here we are. Right, let's go forward. I'm rambling on. We'll be back in just a second. Okay guys, so it is second leg time. You've not really missed a great deal in the last week. We offered out a few new contracts. Opare has signed a new contract. His contract was up at the end of the year. Evaluated it, decided he was probably worth just getting on a shorter term contract for another year. The 32-year-old, of course, part Canadian, so it would have been maybe a bit difficult to replace him, and he's useful. He's played 14 games this year. Clearly, he has a role to play. The other player I'm trying to get on a new contract actually at the moment is Ruiz, who of course is currently out on loan. His current contract ends at 2024, so in 2 years' time, we have made a contract offer to him. We can see here, and it is in the region of I think £3,400 a week in wages for an extra 2 years. The thinking there being that I can maybe get a bit more money for him, or potentially just keep on loaning him out. I mean, to put it into perspective, this year we have loaned him out for £3.5 million for the year. So really, what is £3,500 a month at that, or sorry, a week at that cost? I mean, it's absolutely nothing. The amount of money we're actually going to make off him is just huge. So it just makes sense. I'm trying to do the maths in my head for exactly how much money we make, but it's a decent chunk. I mean, let's work it out. 3,500, so 3.5 a week times by 52, so it's about £150,000 that we're paying him a year in wages, and he makes us every year 3.5 million. I mean, you can see why you'd want to time into a longer term deal. That's not to say that we're always going to get loan deals as good as the one that we've negotiated for the next 2 years with Lyon, but I would like to hope that we can maybe just keep on renewing it with them, or find another Mexican team who will be interested. Anyway, for this game, Marshall's been poor, so I'm actually going to start Deshay. Acevedo is no longer suspended, so we can bring him in, and we'll play him in the ball-winning midfielder role, of course, and then we can bring in Mora and move him up to centre mid on support. I'm just wondering if I want to change things, and I think I do. Unfortunately, Karata, I mean, is Karata fit enough? Karata probably is fit enough to actually chance here. So you know what? Kazunori Karata, I'm forgiving you for when you got sent off. You're back in the team. Adam Bill, on the other hand, has actually been cleared to play 75 minutes, so he can come in on the left. So we're pretty much at full strength. The good news is neither of our players called up for the World Cup have gone AWOL just yet. So they're here for the last game of the year, and well, I'm hoping we can see this game out. We really should be able to. I'm going to warn the players against complacency. Look, we've been the better team in the first leg. They got that late consolation. At 3-1, this game is not over by any means. But we have the quality, I feel like, to just secure a win here. We should be doing that. The system they've switched to might cause us some issues. I feel like Acevedo is naturally going to come up against Romero, and then really Mendes and Valentin on either wing. We're going to be looking at our wider centre-backs to contain them. Whether or not they can contain them, I guess, remains to be seen, as they have a chance early on that gets headed over the bar. So far, we're having a lot of possession, but not necessarily a whole load of really good chances. Can that change here? Karata, now with Moro, who switches the play over to Bill, who with his crazy pace keeps the ball in play, and he puts in, the keeper spills it straight to Hamilton. It's an absolute nightmare by Torres, and well, the decision to bring Bill back into the team, despite the fact he isn't going to be likely to last the whole game, it looks like the right decision, doesn't it? Put in Torres, just, I don't know if he's tried to punch it or if he's trying to catch it, but ultimately that goalkeeping howler has seen the ball drop straight at the feet of Hamilton, who gets a goal. And well, having missed out on the goal scoring opportunities last game, here he's making amends, and well, 4-1 up, we're looking good, and half time is almost upon us. It's just kind of been a quick half, hasn't it, really? We've been the better team. Statistically, certainly, yes, an element of fortune about the one chance we've taken. But at 4-1 on aggregate, there's nothing that we've seen thus far in this game that leads me to believe that Marathon are capable of getting the 3 goals they require to get into this game. They've not had a shot yet on target. Really have limited them. Daly here to Mora. What can he do from deep? He lays it off to Deshays, who we've taken a bit of a punt on bringing him in. He's going to bring it forward. Lays it through to Hamilton, who shoots. Keeper beaten at the near post. Great assist for Deshays. The 2 Canadian internationals linking up in Deshays and Hamilton. And that is Jordan's 27th goal of the year. If I'm not mistaken, that takes the combined total of him and Nick Daly to over... I think it might be getting close to 65 goals between them up top. A really crazy total. Of course, this competition has helped to inflate it somewhat, but still, you have to score the goals. Unfortunately, as Marathon are showing here, they know how to score the goals. They get a goal from a corner, not the best of set-piece defending. We are still 5-2 up. With 35 minutes left, I mean, we shouldn't be panicking, should we? Should we? I don't feel like it. Although if they score this set-piece, a free kick, it's gone just over the crossbar. A little close for comfort, it must be said. If it wasn't for the fact they have perhaps the momentum with us and the fact they just had that effort, I wouldn't be worrying with half an hour left. They need 3 goals. They've only had 2 shots on goal all game so far. Karata whips it in. Hamilton misses it but gets the rebound for the hat-trick. What is it about our players and getting hat-tricks at the moment? We have had a crazy end to the season in terms of either Daly or Hamilton on a consistent basis has just turned up and scored goals. And on this occasion it's Hamilton. Karata with the ball in. Hamilton missed the initial effort. Good stop by Torres, but the rebound fell straight to him. I'm going to take off Nick Daly just to protect him going into the World Cup. I think we'll take off Mora as well. We'll move Alex Marshall to playmaker, play Saint Duck as the pressing forward. Although actually now I think about it, it makes more sense to swap him and Hamilton around. Hamilton, of course, blessed by being both a very good advance forward, but also a very good pressing forward for us. He's very versatile in that role. Anyway, Ace Vado tries to switch the play over to Karata, who looks ever so tiny, doesn't he, on the far side of the pitch, bless him. He looks noticeably small. Here he is on the ball. What can he do? Lays it to Deshays. Now with Marshall. Karata. Back to Marshall. Ace Vado could unleash a shot. Lays it off to Bill. Left midfielder switches it. Karata. Oh my word. Oh my word. That's a pretty tasty goal. It's 4-1. 7-2 on aggregate. We are in cruise control now. And it's Bill and Karata, the 2 young wingers on each of their sides, just linking up superbly. Bill with the ball in. Karata. Di Canio-esque is probably the best way to describe that. What a finish. What a goal. Love that. Really do. And with 12 minutes left, we can officially, I feel like, check out for the year. We can get on the beach a little bit. We can relax. Because we've been the better team. It shows in the scoreline. Garcia could get a straight red here. Indeed he is. I mean, it looked harsh, I'm going to be honest. Was a little bit nervous for the fact Bill could get injured because I was recommended to only playing for 75 minutes. But with it being the last game of the year, I'm less concerned. Hamilton still wants to add more goals for his season tally. Unfortunately, Marathon are going to clear it. But 7-2 looks as if it's going to be how this finishes. What a way to end the season. Great to see Karata and Bill play as well as they did on each wing. Definitely looking like the 2 players who we may end up playing on the wide areas of the pitch going forward, especially into next year. As I mentioned earlier, I believe next episode is going to be the North American Champions League, where it will undoubtedly be the biggest game in the club's history, and I do hope to see you guys for that one. But here we've been in, well, just very much in control this game, haven't we? We've been the better team. We can lift the silverware, embrace it, enjoy it. I feel like we deserve it. What a great little performance that is by us. We did the hard work in the home leg, but to be fair, an even bigger win in the second leg. I feel like Marathon's heads perhaps dropped a little bit. So yeah, you can see there with that we qualify for the North American Champions League. So exciting times there. When is that going to be coming up? Do we know yet? We don't know yet. If we just look at stages. So last season, if we just look, the first round took place in February. So that's probably when we're going to be back. It's going to be interesting to see how player fitness is. But the board has lighted, and rightfully so. Jordan Hamilton, you were superb, my friend. What a win that is. The best match was the 9-1 win that we got. Kazunori Kurata with most assists in the competition with 4. Nick Daly with 19 goals. 19 goals he got in this competition in 10 games. I mean, that's just a little bit crazy, isn't it? You can see I mentioned about all the hat-tricks and stuff towards the end of the year. Hamilton got a hat-trick in this game, Daly in the game before that, Hamilton got one in the game before that, and the game before that. Nick Daly got a hat-trick in the game before that. In 5 of the last 6 games of the season, we saw hat-tricks. That's a pretty crazy stat, if you ask me. And I think that is really indicative of what has been the difference between previous years and this year. It really has just come down to the goal-scoring escapades of Daly and Hamilton as a strike force. I feel a bit bad for the Duck on the sideline, but these two guys, they've just synergised, haven't they? You can see here, I mean, Daly's played significantly more games. Hamilton to start the season wasn't really nailed on first choice. But yeah, 37 goals for Nick Daly, 28 for Hamilton. That is a combined total of 65. It's not too shabby, is it? Both of them averaging more than a goal per 90 minutes. I'd say that's pretty blooming good. Interestingly, Hamilton actually has the higher average rating. But, I mean, made no mistake, they're both massive, massive parts of our team. I'll just quickly flash up the statistics for the season. I could mull over these forever, but I know some of you guys absolutely love your numbers. So I'll show it here. If you notice any particularly odd stats, please do let me know about them. But, I mean, if we just look at minutes played here, Daly leading the way, then Liam Fraser, then Connor James. Fraser this year really has transitioned into being Soria's successor. 7.18 average rating in the league is good. In the Canadian Championship he did very well too. And in the North American League, which of course we have played superbly in throughout, a 7.85 average rating. He's very, very, very good, isn't it? Let's be honest. In terms of goals scored, Kurata and St. Duck also did reach double figures. Bill was a big surprise player towards the end of the year. He shone for us in the Alberta League. We promoted him to the first team. He's done well there as well. He has pace. He's great with his dribbling and his first touch. Very excited to see him potentially become a regular in the first team. Of course, he is part Canadian. We can see here he's signing from the Albuquerque Academy. He showed last year that he was good at this level by playing for York 9. This year he's taken it to a whole nother level for us. Obviously, Kurata going to be able to play league games next year, which is exciting because I think he'll be playing out at right midfield despite his 5 crossing. And yeah, I'm very excited to see how he does in the league for us. But to be honest, it's just an exciting time here. We've got, of course, Wim as well, who looks like a player for the future, the young Dutchman. You might remember we signed him during our very first season here at the club. He's had a few different loanings out. This year he came back and he played here and there. He played a lot of the games we didn't really commentate, so I didn't talk about it so much. But he's another player who I'm very, very excited about. But to be honest, we're in a great little position now. When you look across the team, yes, there's a few older players in there. There's a few players in their in their early 30s, late 20s. But at the same time, we have such a young core to this squad. It feels like a squad that is only going to get better with time. And that is perhaps the most exciting thing of all about this kind of side that we have here at Edmonton. You can see within our first team, we have got a decent chunk of Canadian players. We've got 12 who are primarily Canadian. We then have another, if we just highlight here, 16 who aren't primarily, but amongst these, Edson Leon is Canadian, Shale is Canadian, Opare is Canadian, Vim is Canadian, Alex Marshall will be Canadian, Daly will be Canadian, Oyamada's Canadian, Soria is Canadian, Lovitz is Canadian, Bill's Canadian. There's lots of Canadians in there. Don't let it be kind of too deceptive. That they are in and amongst us. They live within it, with us. It's like aliens, you know, how they live amongst us. Anyway, I feel like that was a very niche reference. Interestingly enough, Shandell Senior holds on to his position in the overall best 11. Just to look at Temguia here, of course, he went to Forge a couple of years ago for £400,000. Those average ratings suggest that it was probably a good sale that we made. Osorio, where are you now? You are in our under-23s. I mean, that shows how much I've been thinking about Osorio. Lincoln Joseph is another one of our players at Forge. He's had, well, a bad season. You can see he went to York 9 for 90k. He then got sold on to Forge for less. Ruiz and obviously Marshall here. Sarkaria, I did notice his contract was up at Detroit at the end of the year. I don't know if they renewed it. They haven't yet. Could possibly bring him in as a backup. I know he plays a bit of Football Manager in real life, but he doesn't exactly add much to our team, I'm afraid to say. You can see here, ABZ's signing of the season. I'd agree with that. We've signed an international player for £13,000 and he's putting a 7.29 average rating at the age of 18. Goal of the year was apparently Mosavat. So let's take a look at it. I don't remember this goal. I think it was towards the end of the season, actually, when we were rotating the team a little bit more. Let's enjoy it. Mosavat here is number 37. So how's the ball going to get to him? Here it is. He picks it up. He hits it. I mean, it's not a screamer into the top corner, but I do appreciate the curve on the ball there. Bogdanovic as well picked up Young Player of the Year, the centre-back, which is an interesting shout when you consider ABZ is the same age and didn't get it. But hey, there is a lot to be excited about with players like Bogdanovic. In terms of season review, it was pretty blooming good. Almost sold out every single time. An average attendance of just shy of 6,000. Of course, the new stadium is going to hold 10,000 fans, so there's going to be a lot more revenue to be made there, which is nice. Plans for next season, boys. We're going to retain the league. Of course we are. What else was I going to say? The board are very, very happy. We've still got 3 years left of our current contract, so not too concerned about that right now. In terms of when we'll be back for pre-season, I want to come back as early as possible with just an eye ahead to the North American Champions League, which is going to be where we are back next time out, I think. That will be how we start the season. It's going to be the biggest games in the club's history. Hopefully, I will see you guys for those ones. It's going to be huge. You can see here the Champions League qualification. These are the 6 teams from the North American League who qualified. Obviously, a few teams there that we did knock out on our way. Obviously, we can't get drawn against them because of the way things are seeded. But no, it's an exciting time and it's going to be great competing in the North American Champions League. And it can only be a good thing for our club balance as well. You can see here our wage budget has been shifted around. That was because of the Ruiz deal I was offering. But actually, from a financial perspective, because of the amount of money we've been making from loans, I've been permitted with a fair bit of money to spend. I don't know if we'll end up signing that much. I'm pretty happy with the overall balance of the team. Maybe 1 or 2 really high quality Canadian players is in order. We'll have to see what's available in the market. Anyway, folks, that's all from me for Season 4. Thank you for watching as always. I'll see you again next time where it will be a massive game. It's going to be the North American Champions League. I'll see you guys for it. With love, with care. See you again soon. It is me, Jack, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.